What's up, everybody? Welcome to No Life to Metal. My name is Scott Waters. This is
Trog.
And we are making our top 50 of 1983 video. Top 50.
That's 50 fingers.
And that is paring it down from
80.
So him and I went back and forth online. Okay, what do you want? This album, until we got it down to 50. And we're going to do basically 40 in somewhat of an alphabetical order.
We were both a little bit quirky about this one. We got opinionated.
Yeah, we did. And then we finally got it down to a top 10. And 40 we're going to do basically in alphabetical order, somewhat in alphabetical order. Yep. So we're going to start right now with our top 40. So
what shirt are you wearing?
Girl School.
From Hit and Run, the redo?
Yeah, this is from their most recent tour.
Awesome.
Friend picked this up for me in Canada.
I haven't heard that yet. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I haven't heard
that.
I
got Crawl Negretto artwork.
Crawl.
Going out to Eric Crow and the boys. Yeah, it is. David Paul Seymour drew this.
Almost looks like a puss head drawing.
It kind of does. You're right. He has a similar style.
Very cool.
He also did the the cover for Stars That Move.
Right
Same
on.
guy.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, he's really good. Anyway.
All right, so we're going to start with Z. Zebra.
Yes, excellent album.
Melodic, hard rock, progressive, somewhat.
I heard it described as post-Zeppelin head music once.
Yeah, and these guys basically were a Led Zeppelin cover band at one point.
And they loved Zeppelin. You can tell.
You can hear it, but I mean, Tell Me What You Want, huge song.
Oh yeah, and the
biggest
Who's
behind the door. That
probably
was their biggest hit, and a great song.
There's really all of these songs. When You Get There, Take Your Fingers From My Hair, as I said before, great stuff. Really fresh for the time too.
And I know that Dream Theater recently did a cover of a Zebra song too, which just tells you how progressive they actually were for the time.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I just saw Randy Jackson touring with an orchestra, and they were doing a bunch of Zeppelin songs. I can't remember what the name of the tour was, but it was pretty cool.
I think if I were to pick a stinker off here, it'd probably be the La La song. It's okay.
Yeah, Slow Down's a little bit. Yeah, it's a
okay.
Beatles cover, but it's a little just goofy.
Yeah, so is La La song.
Yeah, a little bit.
But anyhow, this is another trio or a power trio. So great record.
I worked security for their. I was going to SUNY Cortland at the time in upstate New York, and me and my buddy Don DePanier, we worked security for the show when they came to play. They opened up for. It was Patty Smythe,
and
Warrior, and Johnny, Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. It was a weird, it was a weird
combination.
show. The Zebra was great. They were great, and I think that was, wow, that would have been No Telling Lies or 3.5 tour. I can't remember. It was like '87, something like that. All right, next, Y&T, Mean Streak.
California Boys.
Yeah, part of their trilogy of just killer albums. And they got the
wicked snake on the cover.
Yeah, as was popular for the time, the metal robot theme. So we got the snake, Mean Streak, spitting out his green antifreeze venom stuff.
Kind of reminds me of Screaming for Vengeance or...
Same time frame.
Yep.
Great album. Y&T just rocked hard in the Bay Area. This is before Metallica came and changed the whole game. These guys were like top of the heap at that point for me. I loved these guys. Great cuts on here. The title track is so memorable. Straight Through the Heart, Lonely Side of Town. Midnight in Tokyo is kind of a ballad feel to it, but it's got a real depth to it that I really like. I just saw him this year.
It's not a cheesy ballad though. It's not like,
No, not cheesy at all. It's got kind of a cool hook to it. And I just saw him this year, and they played both of those. They played the title cut and Midnight in Tokyo, and it's just great to hear him. I mean, Dave Menichetti's the only guy left in the band from the original guys.
We recently lost
Phil Kennemore a few years ago. Leonard Hayes is still around, but I don't know what he's doing. Joey Alves, no clue what happened to that guy. But together, they were a great band. They really did kick ass.
They were one of those bands that were climbing. Everybody thought they were going to get huge, and they just didn't. Hair
metal came along. They changed their approach, and
I think it was a big mistake for them.
Yeah, totally. For so many bands, that's really.
Next up, this is some straightforward heavy metal from Wild Dogs.
Yeah,
Wild Dogs.
Wild Dogs eat the city.
I made a little note on here to say this is working man's metal. It's just metal. There's nothing else. There's no other way to describe it other than metal.
You think they sound like Journey?
No, I don't think they sound like Journey at all. But it reminded me, I put a note in there to remind me that Dean Castronova, who was the drummer on this album, ended up becoming the drummer for Journey.
Oh, and he just got arrested recently for something creepy. I don't know if it was like stalking or something. But anyway.
He also played for Cacophony.
The Marty Friedman, Jason Becker project?
And he must have played it with Ozzy for a short period of time.
He did.
And he played for GZR.
Oh, no kidding.
Geezer Butler's band. So, there you go.
Awesome.
Like I said, though, this is just straightforward heavy metal, kind of, would align with bands like The Rods, or maybe Canada's Sword, that kind of thing.
They got the Priest look going, for sure.
Oh, yeah, they definitely got the Priest look going. It was all about the metal thing,
Yeah.
And I don't think it's their best album, but it's a solid album from them. Definitely deserving to be in the top 50
What is
for
it on
83.
Shrapnel?
This is on Shrapnel.
It is Shrapnel, okay.
Yep, Shrapnel Records.
I don't hear much about that these days.
Born to Rock, The Evil in Me, Take Another Prisoner, Two Wrongs.
Two wrongs don't make a right, but three lefts do.
Great guitar work on here too. Obviously, if it was on Shrapnel, I mean, that was the whole thing, all the shredding.
Yeah.
So, Wild Dogs.
Excellent. All right, brings us to a band I love a lot, Witchfinder General, Friends of Hell, the second part 2 in their Bare Boobs on the Cover series.
Same woman, right?
Albums, yeah. Joanne Latham, Penthouse Pet from like 79 or something. Yes, I was deeply in love with this woman. But I digress. It's a very similar approach from the first album. Not quite as strong songwriting on this one as on the first one, but music is it's kind of a very upbeat song for them. It's something you kind of can't help but like it. It's a fun song. It's cool to listen to. But they got Love on Smack, Friends of Hell. They have the doomy and the dark stuff in here too. I Lost You is a great ballad. Quietus Reprise is another great track.
It's funny how they were part of like that movement, that new wave of British heavy movement. But they always call it new wave of British heavy metal, but the sound was so diverse.
Yeah,
you had your bands like Raven.
Yep.
And then you had Venom.
Yep.
And you had Def Leppard. Iron
these
Maiden.
guys
None of these bands sounded the same.
Right. These guys are definitely in the Sabbath camp as far as
very
sound.
doomy.
Yeah, and I mean Z Parks definitely had kind of an Aussie, that nasally kind of voice going on. Love these guys. Great stuff. Strong metal from the new wave of British heavy movement.
Yep. All right, what do we got next? Oh, this is a classic. This one almost didn't make the cut. Almost.
Only because we overlooked it for a minute.
This is Thin Lizzy Live? Live Life? Well, I don't know.
I always called it Life Live. That's what I called it.
On the side it just says Thin Lizzy Life. Live double album. But it's both.
I think Life is technically the name, but
Yeah.
What a great collection, a fitting end to the Thin Lizzy saga.
It was the last hurrah for them.
Yep. They had every guitar player that ever played with them joined them at least, if not this show. What was it? Just one night that they did this? On the back here we got Eric Bell, we got Brian Robertson,
yep.
We got Gary Moore, John Sykes, and where's Scott Gorham? There he is.
Scott Gorham.
So Snowy White's the only one that's missing from this picture, but I do believe he played on Renegade on a different show. So I can't think of any other guitar players other than like Midge who filled in. He never was really on an album. And then I think there was another guy. I can't remember him, but
didn't Lemmy come in and play too?
Lemmy?
Yes, he did. I'm pretty sure he played on one of the final shows. Lemmy came on stage and played with them.
Oh, that'd be
cool.
I
don't think it was on this one. But I do have a few bootlegs from this era.
And Lemmy played with. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So there you go. There's Darren.
Great album.
Darren Wharton.
Yeah.
Eric Bell, Scott Gorham.
Probably the highlight on this is the version of the rocker that they do, because that's got everybody. Everyone except Snowy. Every guitar player in Lizzy was up there except Snowy White, and just wow. Awesome.
I think if there's anything I could say negative about this record here would be that I wish they would have kind of just left it more live and not jacked with it so much in the studio.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a classic.
I can remember there's a rap on there that Phil does before they do Got to Give It Up. He's saying, it has been brought to our attention that there are people in the audience who have been drinking alcohol. It has also been brought to our attention that there are those of you who have engaged in sex. He goes, to these people, welcome. Just classic. Classic bravado. whatever.
He definitely had a way with the audience, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did. Phil was unique.
All right.
All right, here's what we got playing in the background. Oh my gosh, Naked Butts. Making Contact by U2. This is
boobs and butts in one video.
Where are the boobs? Oh my gosh, there were boobs. The only thing we're missing is, well, you know,
Full frontal,
the other naughty bit. Well, this is the last of 4 albums with Paul Chapman on the lead guitar slot. Probably my least favorite of the 4. There's some classic cuts on here though. Blinded by a Lie, Diesel in the Dust is a great one. Push It's Love, another great one. That's what's playing in the background right now. Classic UFO.
Chapman's a great guitar player, and he
really
just
is.
didn't get his due because he always lived in the shadow of Schenker.
There's a killer shot on the back here. He's playing a BC Rich bitch, kind of bent over. It's a classic pose. Great album. Again, UFO.
Great cover too. I always thought it was just a cool cover.
Yeah, and it's probably Hypnosis as usual.
Yeah, most of the UFO covers were.
Yeah. So, sleeve design. Storm Thorgerson. Yeah, he was part of Hypnosis.
All right, what do we got next? Okay, this is some more LA heavy metal.
Love this album.
Skewer, and so do I. Raw, biting, and in the introduction of Yngwie Malmsteen to the world, who is, you know,
very strange.
Strange
for him to be in this lineup because he didn't really fit with what the appearance of the band.
Not only that, but he is even here. He was the king of what's the word I'm looking for? Into himself.
Narcissist.
Yeah, narcissist. I mean, but
I mean, he did have something to back it up. He was the friggin' fastest guy on the fretboard in existence at that time that we knew of.
Yep.
There's a layer of cheese in this, but it's a good kind of cheese, like
exactly.
like a Havarti or a Swiss.
And I actually really thought Keel was great on this too.
Yeah,
Mr. Ryan Lee Keel.
Never liked anything he did beyond this. The Keel stuff was okay, but this, I don't know.
I like the Keel stuff. I really love the country stuff he's done.
I haven't heard it.
I haven't either. I'm kidding.
The Metal Cowboy. At some point, he put them together.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like, all right, Ronnie.
So anyhow,
a great album.
Very LA sounding. Very.
Lots of people came and went in this band. Greg Chason was in this band as the bass player when he first moved.
And
to LA.
let's see, Rick Fox was in Wasp for a while.
Yep, he was.
Cool. Who else we got in here?
I remember Rick Fox because I had an old underground metal magazine. And there's a picture of Rick Fox in there going like this, like doing the horns with 2 hands.
And Rick Fox is actually the one who came up with the name Wasp.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. According to his personal website, he came up with the name because they were trying to come up with a name that was similar to the Beatles.
Oh,
so they came up with Wasp.
That's
then
funny.
Then Blackie ended up putting the dots in it more for mystery than anything else.
Yeah. But so we got Mark Edwards on here too. He played with a few bands in LA. You know, stuff that's not incredibly memorable, but he did some solo stuff. He did another band called Third Stage Alert. Lots of stuff. So it was kind of a vehicle for a bunch of different musicians, I think.
Yngwie is the one who went on to the most fame. I mean, he's world renowned. So.
And Cold Day in Hell, great opener.
Backseat Driver.
Hot on Your Heels. You remember that they used part of the guitar solo in that from the Metal Shop intro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was just really. It's a strong album.
On the rocks.
It really is a strong album.
Yep.
It's kind of like a one-hit wonder album. Never heard from
And then
him
one of
again.
these songs also was on one of the very first Metal Massacre.
It was Cold Day in Hell.
Cold Day in Hell, yeah. And they ended up taking it off after the first press and the second press thing.
Yeah.
They took it off. I don't know why.
It's a great song.
They ended up putting Black and Blue on instead, I believe.
I would have rather heard Steeler personally.
There you go. Steeler.
All right. This was kind of hard. More in the punk camp. Suicidal Tendencies. I remember I got into this album probably a couple of years after it came out. Thrash movement was definitely gearing up in 1983, and this is one of the bands that definitely had an influence on it, which is funny because after this they totally crossed over into thrash. This was like their only pure hardcore punk album that they did, but it's great because it did appeal to metalheads. The whole album is awesome. This is one of the first hardcore albums I ever heard, and it prepped me for other things like Black Flag and Fear. Misfits, all that GBH, all that stuff that was cool in the mid '80s, in that scene that was kind of safe for metalheads to venture over into eventually. It just all kind of it was cool.
And
Great album.
There's 2 songs on that album that are just like completely iconic.
Oh yeah, institutionalized for sure. I want a Pepsi.
All I wanted was a Pepsi, and she wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah, there are people who don't even know this album that think that's a funny joke, and they don't even know where it came from. What's the other one?
I saw your mommy and your mommy's dead.
Yeah. The
I
whole
saw her
thing's so
lying
killer.
in a pool of red.
And the cover's awesome. I mean, it's got the guys, and they're totally in their cholo punk get-ups, and they're hanging from monkey bars by their feet. It's definitely unique, man. And there's fire
It's kind of a
burning.
skater thing. And,
Yeah, it is definitely heavily skated.
and obviously they had a huge following just from the cover art.
Yep.
All these people with their
all their
hand-drawn-
homemade suicidal
So,
tendency
yep.
shirts and hats and stuff. Pretty
So that
cool.
was another one that we kind of went on about. But should we include it? Should we not include it? It's not really metal. It's not really hard rock. It's punk.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's why we called it hard and heavy instead of heavy metal.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, all right. Next one. Okay, this is weird because neither one of us had this on vinyl, which is odd.
yeah.
Neither
We
one of us
used
had
to.
it. Both of us had it, and I don't have it at the moment. I'm looking for it.
Yeah,
and
we tried to
couldn't-
grab the reissue.
We couldn't even find the reissue anywhere, so we're going to show the CD instead. This is Slayer. Show mercy. Slayer.
I saw a meme the other day of a picture of a lamb, and it said before Slayer and then after Slayer, and it had the goat head guy on there. It was very funny.
I played this album to death when it came out. I bought this as a new release when I was in high school. I mean, that's the song Antichrist. His vocals are just like insane.
I remember I got this the first Slayer I heard was the Live Undead EP. And Slayer was another band. It was like, I will never listen to them because they're evil and satanic. Well, the problem was then I heard the music and I liked it. So I think, what was it? Black Magic was one of the tunes I really dug off of that, and Die by the Sword
Die by
was
the
another
Sword.
one that was on there. What
Show
was
No
it?
Mercy, Chemical Warfare. Well, there's extra songs on the CD that weren't on there.
So those tunes were on the live one, so then I checked out the studio ones. I still prefer the live versions on that Live Undead, because that's the first Slayer I heard.
Yeah, see, I bought this as a new release. So I just love this. I played the song Antichrist over and over and over again, much to my parents' dismay. But it was just. It had nothing to do with the lyrics or what they were saying.
Because you couldn't hear half the time. You couldn't hear what he was saying anyway.
Plus, I thought they looked, and the pictures in here are so small. Plus, I just thought they looked cool as crap.
Slayer was pretty badass.
I don't
for
care.
that time.
I don't care if makeup was considered gay in thrash metal or not. That was cool makeup.
Yeah, and I mean, Kerry King had like the spiked bracelet to the nth degree. He had friggin' spikes, like these 4-inch big spikes for building. Coming out of a leather band, and it's like, how do you not impale yourself or scratch the hell out of your guitar? But it looked so friggin' cool.
Yeah, exactly. And we recently lost Jeff Hanneman.
We did.
So, yep. So
He was on
anyhow,
there.
we had to include Slayer, even if we didn't have it on vinyl. It's a seminal release for '83.
Yep.
One of the very first new big, what they
Part
call
of
it,
the-
Big Four. Yeah, thrash
part of
metal.
the thrash movement that was this is where it was.
Yep.
I mean, the underground part of it had already grown and the roots were set and the seed had broken open and these were the flowers that were coming out.
Metal Blade.
Maybe that's not a great allegory for
It was
our
metal.
alliteration or whatever the friggin'
Yep.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
It's the flower of thrash.
The flower.
And it's it's like a Venus flytrap and it
There you
eats
go.
Yeah, good save, Trog. All right, this is a killer album.
Yes, it is.
Sabotage, Sirens in '83.
Oh my goodness, I remember hearing this song.
Didn't get into this till much later, but I remember in '85 when Ride the Lightning came out, and I was just completely absorbed in that album. I mean, nothing else sounded like it at the time. And I asked a friend who was a bigger metalhead than me, I was like, what else sounds like this Ride the Lightning? And the only thing he could even come close was this Sabotage album. And, true or not, Sabotage had a good sound, not quite a Metallica sound, but
No,
still.
but the same intensity.
This is some of the best traditional metal of the period that still stands up today. I mean, Chris Oliver's riffs and John Oliver's voice. This original lineup of Sabotage was the classic one, and I loved them all the way up
It
through.
did come out in '83, but I'm pretty sure it came out in '83. It better be.
Yeah, it did. That's '83.
But it wasn't. It was only released independently in '83.
Right,
It wasn't
on
until
Par Records.
'85 when it came out on was it Combat Metal Blade, whatever it was that it came out. That's when I first heard it too. Was '85.
Right. And they altered the cover by then for whatever reason.
And I heard that.
Cool friggin' cover.
I think it was both because that doesn't look very metal. It's very mellow, And I love that cover too.
I still
but
prefer
I can
it.
understand. I can understand why they changed it because this was more looking. This is
Yeah.
more like the '80s look.
But we went from. You can see it in the little blue thing. You've got a face of a siren in there. You can't quite see it and the shit. But we go to a bunch of children wielding knives and daggers. And if you look closely,
They have
four of the children it's the guys in the band. Like that's John Oliver right there. That's probably the bass player or the drummer. All four of the guys are represented as children on the cover of this album. And it's funny as hell.
Remember the song I heard first was the title track.
Sirens, yeah. First one I heard. Holocaust is a great one.
Holocaust is wicked.
I Believe, Rage, On the Run, Twisted Little Sister. There's
great.
really
I got Sirens stuck in my head.
Whole thing's great. What?
And I got the chorus of Sirens stuck in my head.
I want to hear this.
Sirens.
I'm gonna go put this one on instead of the UFO. Yeah, I'm gonna change it.
Okay.
Go ahead and grab your next one.
It's going to be the next one up. This is the new wave of British heavy metal band, Saxon. We have 2 copies here.
Here it is. Awesome.
Saxon. So at this point, Saxon had been around for quite a while. They were definitely searching for the success that Def Leppard was gaining in the U.S.
Yep.
So they went for a more melodic sound. I don't want to say commercial because I really don't think so.
I think they were still rooted in their early sound here, but they were starting to branch.
Yeah, it just had
sure.
more of a melodic edge to it.
This still was an awesome album. Still firmly.
And Power and the Glory is one of my all-time favorite Saxon songs.
Great.
It's not a bad song on here. There's a difference between these 2 pressings.
Canada and U.S.
And there's different songs.
Mm-hmm.
One different song.
Susie Hold On, they redid it on this one. It was track 3, and instead of that one, there's the song Warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
But, hold on, we're still not done. Warriors also on this one. So that's not even the one.
Is that the difference?
Yeah, Midas Touch was the one.
Yeah, Midas Touch was the one.
Midas Touch on that, Susie Hold On this, which I'm not sure what that was all about. Must have had some kind of marketing.
Hey, I don't know. Whatever.
Title track, killer.
Yep, title track is brilliant. It's one of my favorite songs by them, like I said. So
when I first heard This Town Rocks, I kind of thought it was cheesy, but then it grew on me. Now I love it.
I kind of like that song, even though it's obviously an anthem.
Yeah.
It's kind of got that machine gun riffing and the double bass kind of stuff going on. And
yeah, it's a solid album. If you like the original Saxon, this is not going to disappoint.
Yep, agreed.
But it's definitely leading to what came next, which they've started getting a little more melodic.
A little more melodic, a little more commercial.
Yeah.
But still, great album from them. Eagle Has Landed, which is one here, 7-minute track.
Named after their live album, apparently.
Of course.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Watching the Skies about Alien, the ever popular Alien stuff.
Yep. This is the classic lineup too. Still got Biff, Graham Oliver, Paul Quinn, Steve Dawson, Nigel Glocker.
Yep.
So this is still the classic.
Still classic Saxon. So. All right, more American heavy metal here. Hard rock, New York flavor, Riot. Last album with Rhett Forrester at the mic. Strong album. Album cover's a little goofy. Looks like a cut and paste at Kinko's. But strong tracks on here, really. I mean, if you liked Restless Breed, this is a great follow-up. It really is. Even Born in America was the title track. It was the one that hooked me, really. There's some really cool songs in here. You Burning Me and Wings of Fire are awesome. Running from the Law is another great one. Devil Woman is a Cliff Richard cover, which awesome. Heavy Metal Machine, which Ultimatum did a cover of on their.
We actually never did the cover.
Wait a minute. We were
supposed to do a cover of it.
That's right.
We started working on it, just never happened.
That would have been awesome.
And
Vigilante Killer, another great one.
And we lost
solid.
We lost 2 people from this that were on this album.
We lost
Mark Reale.
Mark Reale he did go.
And Rhett Forrester has some solo material out too. That's actually not too bad.
No, some of it's not bad at all.
Awesome. That's probably the best cover in the batch.
I don't know. I didn't mind Fire Down Under. And
next up, some American heavy metal, hard rock, whatever you want to call it. This is the Power Trio. Back in the day, I can remember people calling these guys the American Motorhead. I don't think they sound like Motorhead. Much more melodic than Motorhead ever was. Don't have that growling bass like Motorhead have. That was Motorhead's signature sound, was that Rickenbosted bass, you know. This was just more straightforward heavy metal. Of course, you have Ronnie James Dio's cousin right here, and David Rock Feinstein, who also was an elf with Ronnie James.
And this is also Carl Kennedy, right?
Carl Kennedy, who went on to do numerous things. He was a big, huge producer. Produced the first Anthrax record, which was
Thrasher Project.
Huge, yep. Yeah, great record. I don't know that anybody would call this their best album. This was their third.
This is a live one?
No, this is their in the
Rod's
Raw album. In a great name for it because it's definitely raw production, which I actually like. I think some of the best albums from the 80s were the ones where they just kind of had that live raw in the studio sound. It wasn't over polished.
Well, look what happened. I mean, this is '83. The metal community there was a part of it that was going off into more polished sound, and that's where the hair metal whole thing got born.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens in '87? Appetite for Destruction comes out, and it's a return to that kind of raw sound, and it sold millions.
It really split. I mean, you had the stuff that was straightforward, then you had the hair stuff that went this way. Really, especially by the mid '80s, man, it was way polished.
Yeah.
Then you had the thrash stuff that went over this way. That was
just total extremes. I mean, this was down the middle, and really, that's what I missed. That's the stuff that I missed. And like I mentioned, the Guns N' Roses was a return to that in a lot of ways. It was almost like kind of the best of both worlds in some ways.
Yep.
I mean, it made the hair metal crowd happy, and it made the girls happy, but it was still raw enough for guys like Scott and I who were into Metallica and stuff, and it's like, oh, this isn't bad. It took me a little while to get into it once I got past the initial image. But
yeah, probably the hit single on here, and I actually have a 7-inch single, and I forgot to bring. Hit single on here was Hot Love. Not that it was a hit single, it wasn't like a radio single, but it was the single that they chose for this. And it is definitely the most commercial song on here. Other songs on here, Evil Woman, Street Fighter, Hot City Hurricane, all classic Rod songs. So there you go, 1983, Rods.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. We had a band that was started out firmly in what could be called the hard classic rock camp. They started getting heavier, and then in this one, they were starting to mellow a bit. Rainbow. They had a big success with Straight Between the Eyes, the one that was right before this.
Yep, they sure did.
And then, by then, MTV was a firm fixture in the music world. So the big one on here, what was it? Street of Dreams. And I remember seeing the video countless times in rotation on MTV, heavy in '83. And I was watching MTV all the time in '83 at this point. It was just what, it was part of our generation's coming of age. It was just a big part of our lives. And I can't say that this is by far, this is nowhere near my favorite Rainbow album.
Yeah, not mine either, but it's still good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's very well done.
Julian Turner on vocals with a very melodic vocal sound.
Just a little bit more mature, I guess, and a little more commercially acceptable or accessible. And it's all right. It's not the greatest, but it sure as hell isn't the worst either.
No. Richie Blackmore. Yep. It was a good album. Definitely deserving to be in the top 50 for that year.
Yeah.
This next one isn't new wave of British heavy metal band. Sabotage.
Metallica covered Let It Loose.
Yep.
Title track.
And this album is called
sorry.
Loose and Lethal, which to me is the perfect 1-2 punch to describe their sound. Loose,
great sound.
Very loose sound, but lethal, heavy rock. Heavy
Only
metal,
one they
whatever you
did,
call it.
right? Only album?
As far as I know, it's the only album they did.
They might have done a couple singles, but I think this is the only full length. And Metallica did cover Let It Loose on their earliest. This was on like the Garage Days demos way back in the beginning.
Yeah, before not the actual Garage Days release, but
no,
but
this is like the stuff that they recorded in Ron McGovney's garage.
Right.
There was a bootleg single that came out that had Let It Loose and Killing Time on it, which was the Sweet Savage cover. At first time I found it and heard it, I thought this is great. Mm-hmm. And then I get into Savage and it's just like cool band.
And I kind of put these guys in with Witchfinder General.
Yep.
Grim Reaper.
Uh-huh.
They just really captured that 80s heavy metal sound.
Yep.
That's what it is. Again, straight down the middle.
And right, but still right in tune with the whole new wave of British heavy metal movement. Like we were talking about before, there were myriad genres within that movement, but there was something that unified all of them. There was a sound, there was an overall spirit or feel of the whole thing that put even the bands that were like more in the doom camp or in the thrash camp, they still fit together, and they're still from the same family. It's not a genre. I mean, I'd call it a movement. But,
you could put Savage on the same bill with Diamond Head and Raven, and it would
be fine.
Yep.
Totally different styles, but it's still there was something about it. There was a common thread that ran through all.
Like I said, straight down the middle metal, but doesn't sound like the Rods.
No, it doesn't.
So
I mean, they're British for one thing.
Yeah.
But
Definitely a difference between the European sound and the American sound. So.
yeah. All right, we have this one here. This could have been in the top 10. The only reason it's not is because the top 10 that we have is so solid. We couldn't justify putting this here. But it also didn't seem fair to. You want to do the other one right after I do this one? The other.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't seem fair to exclude it because this one and another honorable mention we have were responsible for bringing metal into the mainstream in a way that none of these other bands did. This one, Quiet Riot, Metal Health.
Metal Health, yep.
Technically the third album from this band. There were two, Randy Rhoads' former band, there were 2 albums released in Japan, did nothing. Personally, I love them, but then again, I was a Randy Rhoads freak when I was in high school. This album, it's a fitting tribute to him. I mean, there's a song on here dedicated to him, Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, yep.
And so it was part of the Randy Rhoads mythos, you know, the whole thing. But Quiet Riot, I remember getting really excited when I would see Come On Feel the Noise or Metal Health videos on MTV. Because these guys were more speaking my language.
Again, I call them straight up the middle. They weren't yet that pop metal stuff.
Right. They were still heavy metal, but a much more accessible heavy metal for the general
Obviously,
masses.
yeah, because it sold like gangbusters.
Oh, yeah, it did.
On 2 singles, basically the title track, which was massive,
and Come On Feel the
which
Noise.
was a Slade cover, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
it was.
So,
and a huge, probably their biggest song ever.
Yep.
I mean, so much so they tried to
do a second
on
one,
the next
yeah.
one, and it didn't quite do as well, but still, that's
And
what
the
they
second one,
were
they
trying
also
to do.
brought back Slick Black Cadillac from the.
Yes, they did.
From the second album.
From Quiet Riot 2, and they did an updated version of Slick Black Cadillac, which is great. It was a great song to begin with. Really, there's not a bad song on here. It's all very straightforward, and it's all very consistent.
And don't they look pretty on the back?
They do. You know, Rudy Sarzo's got his little bandana around his neck firmly. You know, the Van Halen.
He could have fit an angel man in that picture right there. put some white on him, and he'd be an angel right there.
Yeah.
Of course, from there we've lost.
We've lost Kevin
DuBrow.
DuBrow recently. I don't know where Carlos is. Rudy's been touring with several bands. I saw him with Blue
he's all over
Oyster
the
Cult a
place.
few years ago.
He just recently put out a book on the last few years on the Ozzy years, and which is really cool if you're into the whole Ozzy and Randy
I would
Rhoads
like to
story.
read that.
Great book.
Frankie Banali's still got Quiet Riot running.
Yes, he does.
He's still touring under the name Quiet Riot. I don't know who else is playing with him.
I can't remember either.
But Quiet Riot for sure. Very honorable mention for this Hard and Heavy from 1983.
All right, going back to the new wave of British heavy metal once again.
Yep.
This is